Welcome to the S.E.M podcast. Zach Hewlett, Jack Bryce here again hosting. And today we have a famous guest from the north. It is Garrett McLeod. Garrett, how are you, brother?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. Glad to be here, boys.
Yeah, so good to see you. We're grateful you're taking time to be with us. Garrett mentioned before we were speaking, he's been listening to some of his favorite people as, as he's been listening to the podcast. So, but just a quick reminder, we'll go through pre-mission and anticipation of getting your call and what your reaction was to getting the call to Scotland. We'll go after the mission, and then we'll go back to the mission, go through companionships, areas, and any fun memories, spiritual memories, whatever you want to cover. So, Garrett, the floor is yours, man.
For sure. All right. So pre-mission, yeah. So I wasn't sure I wanted to go. I didn't know. It wasn't something that I thought about too much, to be honest. And I went about a year. I went when I was like on my 20th birthday, which was kind of a bummer. I was like flying halfway across the world on my birthday, like freaking out, like low key freaking out, like no idea what's going to happen. You know, you probably felt the same sort of thing, right?
Oh, of course.
Anyways, so but then I did decide to do it. Like my bishop like called me and we like sat down and talked. He's just like, "Is something you want to do?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think so." Like, sure. I don't know. It was like I don't know. I wasn't dead set, but yeah, I ended up going anyways. And then when I got my call, I was actually in Utah at conference, and we are going to like this. I think we went to like a Fall Out Boy concert, like before they were big.
Nice.
So I was still cool. It was cool to see them because they weren't big, right?
Yeah.
And so my call came to here, Alberta, Lethbridge, and I was down there. And so my mom like calls, and I'm just like, "No, don't open it. Like, I'm gonna open it." She wanted to open it before I got back, so then I opened it when I got back, and I'd seen Preston, England pop up beforehand, like the MTC. And my mom like grew up in England. She did like all of her like schooling there, so
Wow.
I saw it and I just said, "Mom, I'm going to England." And she freaks out. And then I look back down, I actually read it, and I was like, "Oh, Scotland." So I was like, "It's the Preston England MTC, Mom." And she's like, "Oh, that's still awesome." But she's still pumped for sure. Because it was just like me and my mom, and I think my sister was home. And so like I didn't even open it. Like I didn't even have a thing. Like no one was there. And then I just started like calling around with, like friends and stuff and telling them, like where I was going and when and all that stuff. So
That's amazing. Is McLeod a Scottish name?
It's
any ancestry there at all?
Mine is spelled the Irish way, like MC,
Okay.
like Mick, and then the Scottish way was MAC, Mac. And so yeah, I think I'm pretty got like a lot of heritage from England, Scotland, Ireland, anyways. But it's spelled more the Irish way. So but like when we were over there, they'd see my badge and like, "Oh, McLeod, what a great Scottish name." And I wanted to tell him, like, well, it's actually spelled Irish way, but I want to be cool, fit in, just like we all do. So I didn't correct them.
Yeah.
Wasn't about to. It's scary. Some of those people. So.
And remind us time frame. When did you go to the MTC? I mean, it was your birthday, so.
Yeah, so it was June of 2005.
Okay.
And then I went there. Yeah, so it was, and if anyone knows me, I've always been kind of a husky guy, and I never wore a suit in my life. Like I hated them; they're so tight. And so then they expect me to start wearing this suit in the middle of summer and like this MTC, and I never did. And I got in trouble all the time. Like I got in trouble daily in the MTC, not wearing a suit, being too loud, everything you could get into trouble for there. I normally did. And my MTC companion was like the complete opposite of me. Like like me and you should just talk to McConkey about this guy. He's a sweet dude, but like complete opposite of me. So like I knew I frustrated him because like I would like break the rules and stuff, not wearing my coat, and he would just be like, "Hey, just put it on," But I was like, "No, I'd rather not get sweaty. Like I'm like try being my size and then like tell someone to wear a suit coat. This doesn't work that way. So
No,
yeah,
I can agree with you there, man. It was not easy to get used to that.
yeah. So
I love it.
yeah, and so that was that. Yeah, so pretty much, yeah, that was beforehand,
Okay.
and a little bit of the MTC. Oops, I snuck
No,
a little in there,
you're
and
you're
yeah.
good. So take us back to June of '07. You got home. Tell us what you've been up to since then.
Yeah, I got home like I was like in and out of school, like thought I had wanted to do something and didn't, and then I just got caught up doing with like security, like Vivint. I installed for Vivint for a lot of years, and
Cool.
then in the winters I would drywall with. Well, he wasn't a buddy at first; it was just a guy I knew in like the YSA, and he just needed another guy, and I was like, oh, I could do some work. So that was that for a long time, and then I started doing service work full time for Vivint,
Hmm.
and then a company called TELUS bought Vivint up here, and so now I work for TELUS
Oh,
as a
cool.
field service technician. So yeah, so I just
So
do
is it solar security, all that?
just like home automation security, yeah,
Okay.
like that. Yeah, so pretty easy job. I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah, they give me a truck and a phone and all that stuff. So it's all right.
Hey, that's hashtag winning right there.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess like yeah, for that was like work. I never got married, never had kids. I have a dog. He's he's big, like really big. He's like a year old. And he's like 110 pounds.
Whoa, what kind of dog is it?
He's an Anatolian Shepherd.
Okay.
His name's Velcro. Um,
Velcro. That's a great name.
he's just chilling on the ground right now. He's just cleaning himself and stuff. I don't know. He probably won't even come. He's kind of dumb. He doesn't always come. Probably because I'm pretty lax with the training. I don't know. He's a good boy though. Yeah.
That's awesome. And you said you're still living in Alberta then, in Lethbridge?
Yeah. I'm still back here. Like I was moving around a lot with work, but not like too far from home. And then yeah, I thought I just ended up staying here. I almost moved to Georgia. I was there for about a month with Vivint, and nothing that was promised like came to pass. So I got out of there once the full-time job opened up back home. So I just moved back here because it was a nightmare. I've never never experienced so much anxiety in my life the month I lived there. So it was good getting back home. It was good.
Yeah. No, those are tough situations. I mean, us returned missionaries have all been approached, I'm sure, at some point to sell security or pest control or
Oh, 100%.
everything in between. And
Yeah.
when you get to a situation and it's not what it was cracked up to be initially, it's not fun. So I
It's an actual
I feel for you there.
yeah. And like in Lethbridge is like like southern Alberta is like the Utah of Canada. Like there's tons of LDS people here. Like there's in my hometown, there's like 7 YSA wards, right? So like not as crazy as Utah, but like crazy as in out of Utah or like Arizona sort of thing, right? So yeah, everyone around here knows what a Mormon is to an extent, right? So
True.
so yeah, that's why like yeah, summer sales when I got home was already started to pick up and was getting pretty huge, and a lot of my good buddies were already like either selling or teching, and I was like, well, I don't sell, but I like to work with my hands, so I got on the tech side of it and had a lot of fun times. You meet every kind of people with this job too, so it's super crazy and fun. It's like the mission, right? You just meet every kind of person. You're in their homes, and you just see how they live and like how they argue with their kids and their spouses. Like it's just next level crazy sometimes. Or you get yelled at for whatever reason and you break something of theirs. It doesn't matter.
Sounds like a story there, but we won't go into it.
More than one.
Well, good. All right. Well, take us back to the MTC. remind us of who was in your group that went up with you to Scotland, and then just kind of go from there.
Yeah, I was with McConkey. He was like probably my best buddy in the MTC. Like we got along right away. Like his dry humor killed me. My loud, obnoxious, like saying things that I shouldn't most of the time killed him, and we just clicked. And I looked up to him because you know how he spoke, and like he was just so good with his words. And I was just like, this guy, I just wanted to be around him, I guess, and maybe that's why I took a liking to him. And
Yeah.
I also thought he was super funny on top of that, right? Like just because he was a McConkey, I didn't care, right? Like I was like, cool, whatever, right? It was like Brandon Osmond. I was like, oh, right on, dude.
That's true.
So
Yeah, he's just Brandon. That's really cool.
Yeah, there was McConkey and like Evans
Okay.
in there. He's a Chance Evans.
Yeah, I remember.
Wasn't very many. Why am I forgetting? Who was in my MTC group?
Was Eller DePold in your group too?
Pulled. See, in the MTC, I actually can't remember who was in my MTC group, which is weird.
You just had too much fun hanging out with McConkey. I get it.
Weird. Yeah, honestly, like he was like the only guy I like really like had like heart talks with. Like even when we left like the MTC in England and the train ride, it was just like me and him. We just chatted, right? Like couldn't even tell you what it was about or anything. I just remember like he kind of gave me like a sense of calm that I needed sometimes. Like, you know, just getting to the mission and it being so crazy, right? So it was dope having a dude like him that seemed like he was well prepared to be around when I felt so ill prepared, right? So it was pretty dope, and I don't think he'll ever really know like how much I appreciated that. I guess now he'll know, but like he was a really good buddy to me out in the field for sure. Yeah,
That's awesome.
much love for McConkey.
Well, cool. All right. Well, take us up to the mission home and the first area.
Yeah. So you'll like this, Zach. You know who trained me? Who trained me? George Willis.
No way.
Yeah, that's my dad, dude.
George Willis.
Yeah.
George, come on the podcast. Come on, your boy's here.
Yeah. There's my first shout out. Yeah, George, man. I even went down to AZ once and met up with him briefly. Yeah. Old George. So funny, man. Yeah, he's
a good dude.
He honestly was a great trainer because he wanted to work hard. He wanted to like show me what it was like to be like a good missionary, but like the character on that guy also showed me like you can't be a robot, dude. You have to have a personality or you're gonna burn out here super quick, right? So that was dope from him, showing me that like you have to have that balance, and he showed me that pretty quick because I have to throw in a George story. I have to. So Willis had, I'm pretty sure everyone knew this. He had terrible hemorrhoids, bad hemorrhoids, and it got so bad that we went to the hospital because he had to get them checked because they were bleeding bad all the time, and so we go in there. I didn't go into the room with him. I was like, nah, man, I'm gonna stay out here. So he goes in and anyways, does this thing, comes back out, and George is white as white. He was super red. Dark red. I'm like tomato red, like lobster red. And I was like, oh, something messed up happened, guaranteed. Anyway, so we leave and we're like walking on the road, and I was like, dude, what? I gotta go in there because he was dead silent. And he's just like, so he's like, first of all, dude, it was a girl doctor. And I was like, oh, he's like, so that made it super uncomfortable. He's like, so, and then she puts on the glove, lubes it up, finger in the butt. And he's like, I was like, he's like, I've never had anything up there before. So when she pulled it out, he's like, I thought I pooped. And I started apologizing, like really, like he's like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, why? And he's like, didn't I just poop on you, sort of thing? And she's like, nah. So there. That's my George story.
Oh my god!
And he pooed on a girl doctor because he's got bad hemorrhoids.
Oh my gosh! He never told me that story.
Of course not. George would never tell that one on his own report. He needs me to tell that one.
Oh, geez, that's too good. What area were you guys in?
Oh, I started Aberdeen.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, not the Bridge of Dawn one, the other one.
The non-zone leader area.
Yeah. Brownlow and Manini were my first zone leaders. Dude, I like those dudes. I like Brownlow a lot.
Oh man.
Was it Thomas? Tom?
Yeah.
Brownlow? Yeah.
His podcast went live today as we're speaking, so make sure you catch that one. It was really good.
He probably doesn't remember me, but I thought he was pretty cool. So they were my first zone leaders, and I was there with Willis. There must have been another couple. Wasn't there usually 6 missionaries covering Aberdeen?
Yeah, you had the zone leaders and the second set in Aberdeen, and then you had the Bridge of Dawn, either elders or sisters, at least from my time there.
I think so. I can't remember, man. I can't remember a lot of this stuff.
Did you live in that nasty 2-level flat? Like the high rise? Yes.
Those stairs, dude, I swear something was chasing me every time I'll run up those stairs every time, dude. I don't know why. I guess I was like, I'm missionary. I'm gonna have these weird experiences with the dark side or whatever. And so I would sprint up those stairs, and I ate trash so many times too, because my chubby legs couldn't keep up with how scared I was of those. Anyways,
it was dark. It was dark down there when you turned the lights off and like just strolled up the stairs. It was dark.
And that bedroom was just like wall-to-wall bed.
Yeah.
You just somehow wake up and you and your companion have switched sides, but never woke up in the night. Like I did it once. I did a 180 once. I've never done that in my sleep ever. Only in that place. It had to have been some kind of haunted dude. Like
it was Willis messing with you, probably.
Yeah. So then, then after George, Jared Lineker, kid from England. He's a good soccer player. I remember that. I remember he had thick legs, a thick butt. He's just like a thick down, kind of like Streeter. I don't know if you remember Streeter. He's thick downstairs.
Streeter.
So I got Jared to backup training, and then Zinkowski got thrown into a tripanionship with us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Did you know Zinkowski at all?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so you know that his antics were we almost fought. He hit me in the chest, and I almost punched him in the face on a bus. I kind of asked for it. I guess I threw an empty water bottle at him because he wouldn't come sit with us. And then he got up and walked over and hit me in the chest, and I almost punched him. And anyways, he apologized, but I think he swore at me in Russian or whatever Ukrainian, but it doesn't matter. But, other than like some of those Neds that I almost fought, he was the only missionary I almost fought.
We'll ask him about it because we're talking to him on Monday.
Oh yeah, maybe he'll remember. He might say something about me. I never swung. I wanted to. I don't know why I didn't, because he hit me pretty hard. But anyway, so after Aberdeen, I took off to North Motherwell. Oh, actually, I don't know if it was in North Motherwell, but if you ever went to Motherwell, I remember there was this brick wall, and spray painted on it when you got to North Motherwell was "Welcome to North Murderwell." Yeah, right, in the spray paint. And I was just like, what am I doing here with Andrew Green, the kid, the missionary? He could do the best comic book guy impression from The Simpsons.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was good at it. I'm pretty sure that was Green. I remember I gave him he must have got big on his mission like I did, but his coat was so tight. And I gave him this trench coat that I never wanted to wear, but it was on like the list of stuff to get. And I gave it to him, and he wore it all the time. And then I was just like, man, Chubby Neo is out here with me now. Oh, man, yeah. He snored too. I slept out on the couch almost every night. He snored so loud. in and out.
Oh.
Like it was too much. I'd sleep on the couch, and it was like the summer, and we had like these black leather couches. I get so sticky on them all. Needless to say, like I was okay when he left. It was okay. I think we only did like 6 weeks, anyways.
He
And
snored
then,
like that in the MTC too. Just so you
Yeah.
know, it didn't start later. It was
oh,
Was he in your room, Jack?
yeah.
oh no. Oh man, yeah, I'm pretty. Yeah, I couldn't have been the only one to experience it. So good thing I was able to kind of escape it and get out to another room. Yeah. So then he left, and I stayed in Motherwell. And then my boy Ren Hardy came along. I think I was like his third companion, but he was still in full gung ho mode. Like, as you know, Ren, it's like all or nothing with Ren Hardy. And I used to call him Hardcore Hardy, mostly behind his back, because I was still a little bit scared of him because he was like a middle linebacker. He's a big kid anyways. But we did not get along at first. And that's why I used to call him Hardcore Hardy behind his back or whatever. And then I think one night we bonded on stuff from back home. Maybe it was like football or love or something. I don't know. And then we became buds, like best buddies. Like, I love that guy to death. I've been down and seen him a few times when he was in Utah. I haven't talked to him in ages. Man, I didn't reach out to Ren. I miss that guy. What a dude. Oh, I love Ren Hardy. He actually kissed me on my mouth the night before I left because he did.
That doesn't surprise me because I spent 2 weeks with Ren when I think Elder Aurelio replaced you, right?
He left to Aurelio. I remember we both left. I think we both got whitewashed maybe, but I remember him going to Aurelio, and then I went to down to Galashiels with Ross Ballack.
Okay.
And he got my number somehow and would call me daily, being like, "You need to talk to me. I need to calm down. The language barrier between me and this kid is terrible." And anyways, so I was like this kind of like his buddy to bring him back,
I was Ren's district leader at that point in time, and he used to call me with the same conversation. So it wasn't just you. He was like, "Man, Aurelio's driving me crazy." And I was like, "Come hang out with us, just take a day and come hang out with us, or we go in an exchange." And I loved Elder Aurelio. I could put up with him for a day or two.
That's cool. I never served around him. I think I played some soccer with him, so I think I kind of understand what you're talking about. Plus, I heard all about him from Ren, so I got the best point of view too, right, of the guy.
Love it. Oh, man.
Yeah. So, anyways, quick rewind back to Ren Hardy. I have to share some Ren Hardy stories, and this one is my all-time favorite. I think I may have told this like my homecoming talk or something, because this is pretty good. So anyways, we leave the flat and we're like half a block away, and it starts pouring rain. This is like right in the morning. So when we're right when we're leaving in the morning, and just starts raining hard, and we were going to go out walking. So I just turned on, I'm like, "Dude, let's just go back home and wait it out, because it's just going to rain hard for a little bit, then it'll pass." So he's like, "Okay." So we go back. Maybe like an hour or two pass, and then it stops raining. We go out, and the sun comes out super bright, so everything's just glaring, right? And because we're already behind schedule, Ren's like, "Oh, let's cut across this field to save some time to get to this area." And I was like, "Oh, for sure." And so we start walking across this field, and we see this cutout in the fence so that we could get to where we were going, right? So we start going, and Ren goes first through this. Oh, it's like chain link, right? But it was literally cut like homeowner special cut. Like, it wasn't done nicely. There was no border. And so Ren's just walking, and it's glaring from the sun and the rain. And these 2 or 3, actually more like 4 or 5, like chain link shards, like grasp his forehead and just tiger claw him from
Oh, no.
eyebrows to hairline. Just and he goes, oh, and he just like goes, oh, whoa, dude, what happened? I was like, dude, you just walked into the fence, man. You probably just scratched your forehead. And he turns back and it's already bleeding and collecting in his eyebrows and starting to run down the side. And I was like, dude, don't touch it, dude. Don't touch it. It'll make it worse. He's like, dude, the cold wind, it hurts, man. I was like, dude, it's just little scrapes. He's like, he looks back. He's like, dude, I can see some of my skin. He pulls skin off of the fence. And he just wants to be like tough. He's Ren Hardy. He's a tough guy, right? So he's like, hey, well, let's just go to the doors. So we knock on the first door, and this lady answers, and she goes, oh, my son, what happened to your forehead? And he goes, McLeod. He's like, you said it was fine. She's like, there's blood everywhere, son. And he goes, what? And she's like, you need to go see a doctor. And she like closes the door, and he turns to me. He's like, what the heck, dude? I was like, bro, you got blood everywhere. So we go back to the flat. He gets all cleaned up and stuff. But anyways, so there's my Ren story.
He must have healed pretty quick from that, because I don't remember any scarring or anything.
No, it wasn't too bad. It was like if you got
just the surface, right?
Yeah,
and
like
it's
a
such
road rash kind of thing,
a thin
right?
part of your skin that I'm sure it was just like, okay, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, so then I went down to Galashiels with Ross Ballack, and I think we whitewashed into the area, so we didn't know like anything. So and I was only with him. I think I sent him home.
Okay.
Him or the Barber. So I was with Brian Barber after Ballack. Maybe I sent them both home, or I sent one or two of them. It doesn't really matter.
Ballack was a little younger than me, and Barber was my MTC group. So if you sent Ballack home, I mean, I don't think you would have. You probably sent Barber home first.
Okay, then Barber then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so most of my time with Ballack was just getting to know the area, the members, yada yada, because there was just notes, but you didn't have a person with the notes. So it was us kind of like following up on notes and area and stuff was most of my time with him. I guess in Aberdeen I had 2 baptisms, one in Motherwell.
Oh yeah. No,
then,
that's the important part, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. To what's his name? Our first guy. numbers. Yeah, Vreens.
President Vreens.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, Vreens, I had 9 baptisms, which is pretty good for Scotland, I think. Yeah, Galashiels, Ballack, really Barber, and then Elmer Adams. I had like a lot of like 6-week. Adams. I think I was with 2 trends. I know it doesn't matter. Yeah, Adams was from like St. George, and he talked really slow, but we got along because he reminded me of a guy I used to hang out with back at home a lot. And Adams was he would just like go with the flow. So I'd be like, hey, let's do this. And he would do it. Like I like told him to climb a tree, and he climbed a tree once, and one of the branches broke, and he fell down the tree a little bit. And talk about blood and getting cut up. Adams got some, I think he cut up his arm or something. So I was out here putting missionaries in danger for sure, I think. So yeah, he was fun. And then I went to Dundee. O'Brien and Dundee. I liked O'Brien. He was like the first guy that like taught me what indie was, like, like, or hipster. Like I'm from like redneck kind of area, I guess. So like he would tell me about like this Sufjan Stevens. He would listen to like his Christmas stuff, and I was like, what kind of music is this? And he's like, I was like indie, and I'm like, what? Anyway, so he kind of taught me about like that stuff. But yeah, we had a lot of fun together. I think we did like a Christmas, or maybe that was McCabe. Yeah, so I was on Dundee. That's where I finished with O'Brien, and then McCabe after that. And Dundee, this is crazy. In Dundee, when I get there, we go to meet the bishop, who is this Cray and Sneed. What's his name?
Yeah,
Ian Sneed.
Oh, okay, Ian Sneed. Okay.
Ian Sneed was the bishop. Well, the dad, right? The bishop, right. Ian. Anyway, so I go there, and he goes, hey, he's like, I'm Bishop Sneed, and I was like, oh, I was like, I know some Sneeds back at home, but I was like, there's no way, right? And so he goes, where are you from, Elder McLeod? I'm from Canada, Lethbridge, Alberta. And he goes, do you know my brother Tom? And I was like, oh my goodness, I grew up like down the street from his brother Tom, and all of his kids were like my friends and stuff, and like,
wow,
yeah, and it's just so immediately he's like, I'm like his favorite missionary, and he's just like taking care of me, and like, we of course got along because like I know his brother better than he does now, sort of thing, right? So it was pretty cool.
That is cool. Small world.
Yeah. And I was there with James McCabe, guy from Arizona. Great dude. I like James a lot. We got along really well. I even visited him once when I was down in Utah. I think he was there. I think it was at like BYU. I was like on campus, and he like ran up and jumped on me. I didn't even know he was there. It was just like a fluke. Like when I ran into you at like that one dance thing or whatever. It was kind of like that, except for
he
just ran up and jumped on me. It was like crazy fluke that we like ran into each other. But we had a lot of fun. We had like a lot of like inside jokes with each other. We like, we like just. Yeah, he was like a real like I don't know, it was just his like when he was like he would tell me, because he was like adopted into like a wealthy like LDS family, right? And like he would tell me a story about like how he found out that he was adopted. Some kid was like, you're adopted, look at you, you're brown and your parents are white, sort of thing, I think he told me. And I was like, that's a crazy story, dude. And then he found out like all the siblings were adopted, and they were all like kind of talking to him like, hey, this is how it is, sort of thing. So, and that was crazy. So anyways, with my job, I went to a guy's house who was a James McCabe. And I was like, one of my good friends, his name's James McCabe. He's like, no way. And then I was like talking to him. He's like, yeah, he's adopted. He's like, I was adopted. He's like, what? And I was like, crazy. I was like, he's like, what? Is it James McCabe adopted? I'm adopted. I was like, oh, maybe it's like what comes with the name. I don't know.
Parallel universe.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Crazy.
And then and then I finished my mission there in Dundee with he wants me to call him Joseph Jansen, but you can't have a hard J and a soft J. And I'll take this to my grave. It's either Joseph Jansen or it's Joseph Jansen. That's all I'm going to say about that. But so when I got the call to go to his he got sent. Sorry, he got to. He came to me. Anyways, I remember when I was on the call with Mr. President, he's like, I was gonna give you like some kind of leadership, because I was no district leader, zone, I didn't train, I knew nothing. I think there was like kind of a thing in the mission that's like Elder McLeod has too much fun, so he's like not gonna do a good job with that kind of stuff. I respect that, because it's probably true. And I was totally fine not having any extra responsibility than what I already had to have. So when he called me, he's just like, I was going to make you district leader to finish your mission, but he's like, I want you to go and be with this other district leader and just like show him how to chill out because Jansen was highly, highly stressed up. Like he lost half an eyebrow due to stress.
Oh my
and
gosh.
then Garrett Smith made him made him like the tape with hair on it to finish his eyebrow, and then they fought. I think they fought once. He gave that to him. I don't think Joseph was too pumped about that one. It was like for his birthday or something. So like he was pumped that he was getting like a birthday gift, and then it was like a gag gift, and he wasn't too pumped about that.
Jeez.
But yeah, me and Jens we had a blast. We were teaching like this dope half member family, and the two of their daughters ended up getting like baptized and stuff. It was pretty cool. And did we played like a lot of like soccer with their brother and tried to like show them that like we're like normal people, but I don't know if it really worked. Like he wasn't having it, but I don't think they stayed active at all. But they just didn't have a great networking system. Anyways, yeah, no, that was cool. It was good to end with him because he really he put his heart and soul into everything. So it's good to finish strong with him. It helped me to like, because sometimes you're like your own worst enemy, right? You kind of beat yourself up and you don't want to have like regrets and stuff. So like finishing strong with him and like seeing like those, I think we had 3 baptisms and like we were good with the ward and stuff. It was really fun. And we worked good and hard, so it like helped me to make sure like I didn't feel like I wasted time out like there, because like you're gonna do that because you kind of did, right? You slept too long, you didn't do the yada yada. So it was awesome, and I appreciate it, Joseph, that I was able to finish with him there. Yeah, it was great. It was really great having him to close that chapter with. Yeah, much appreciation for that guy and for all the guys I spent time with and whatnot. All the guys I bullied and made their life a little bit harder, or easier, or whatever I did. I don't know. I was always just trying to have fun, and I was like, this is hard stuff, guys. So let's just do what we can to like make it not so hard. I guess I don't know. So. Yeah,
one of my favorite memories of you is I think we had a combined zone conference around Christmas time between Aberdeen and Dundee, and you and Quinn Coford came up with a little skit. Do you want to tell us about that? How that came to fruition?
Well, we like dance. You sent me the video because like I remember doing it, but I don't remember everyone behind us.
Right.
I remember that we had like choreographed stuff. Oh man, like yeah.
I think it was you and Quinn, and then like it was the whole Dundee zone. I think
so. Yeah. And we must have done something pre-hand for them to like be so on board to do that. Like it must have killed it initially. I think we had a little practice with that. Yeah, me and Colford, every time we got together, dude, it was a good time. In Colford, same with like Brady Cassidy. Oh man, I love, and like McKay Lynch. Lynch. Yeah. It didn't get much better than McKay Lynch and Cassidy. I remember Cassidy. He got eczema on the mission, and so I used to Adam Sandler Big Daddy quote him and go, "Eczema, gross," and he would get so mad. But we were still good buddies. Yeah, and
funny.
Yeah, those are some of my good buddies. Oh, when I first met Lynch, he was with Matt Fisher. Oh, what a dude, Matt Fisher. I don't know. He ordered Mountain Dew off of AmericanSoda.com and just had this flat Mountain Dew show up at the flat. And there's a picture of us, and we're all holding these Mountain Dews.
I'm pretty sure I saw that picture at one point with Mission. I can't remember who else was in the picture with you, but I remember the Mountain Dew picture was a pretty
Yeah,
famous
it
one
was
that got around the
me.
mission.
Yeah, me, Hardy, Lynch, and Fisher. Yeah, us four. Yeah, it was so so
Oh,
funny. We'd
man.
always have like if we had like a good day, we'd like have a cake day or something. So like we like bake because like the apartments, like we were so close, so it was like end of day or like you would just it was like a 30-second walk over to the other one. So we were always back and forth all the time with those guys, and we just that was probably like the like me and Hardy, of course, we worked hard because he was hardcore Hardy and stuff. But with those other dudes, like there was sometimes like it was like a competition sometimes with those guys who would do like kind of better. So it was like a little bit better of a drive to like not like procrastinate or just like be stupid about stuff. And so yeah, it was sweet having those guys super close and like trying to like have little like competitions and stuff. Is pretty fun there in Motherwell. Motherwell. Is it Motherwell? One of the chapels. Yeah, I think it was Motherwell. Motherwell, one of the churches got broken into. No, there was something happening and somebody like came in when there was an event happening and stayed in there, and then when they left, they went through everything, and we went there for like a district meeting. I was the first person that entered the building, and so I saw everything, and so the cops wanted to talk to me because I was the first one, and I almost had to go and appear in court. Like I had this whole thing, I had to go to court, and then I got another phone call, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, no, he pled guilty, so we don't need you." And I was like,
Oh
"Oh,"
my
like I
gosh.
almost had to like go and testify in court, like just like what I saw, pretty much. Like I didn't see him; it was pretty much would have just been like, "Oh yeah, I went there and there was stuff everywhere." That's all I got.
Wow.
But like they wanted me as there as a witness, but then the guy was like, they found out who it was and he pleaded guilty. Yeah, yeah. So
Wow.
yeah,
I think I remember hearing that story. That's pretty crazy stuff.
yeah.
Well, I'm curious to know what your experience was because was Hammer Time a thing when you were there, or did that not happen until after you went home?
No, I don't remember Hammer Time at all. No.
Okay, because I know, I mean, John O'Brien talked about it, and I think it got a little bit progressively more. It was more reporting and just a little bit more of an aggressive nature of doing member missionary work and things like that. So
That must have been maybe just after
okay,
or something. Yeah, because no, I don't. We didn't talk anything about Hammer Time. And he had just left his long stint at the mission home, and then was I his first companion out of the mission home? I want to say maybe his second one, first or second. So like a lot of stuff was still so different for him, being in the mission. He was in there for
that's
a
right, because
while.
he was an office elder for a long time, right?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, no Hammer Time. I don't remember that at all. And if it was around, I forget. I'm sorry, John.
No, you're good. I was just curious if that was something in the works or not. Tell us your memories. I mean, you came in basically like right as the Vrains left, right?
No, I was like literally at half and half.
Oh, that's right. You had a year with them and a year. Okay, that's right. Tell us about your experience with the Vrains and then also with the Fredericks and your memories of them.
So I remember me and Vrains. It's not like we clashed, but like I always felt uncomfortable around him, and I don't know why, but like I never enjoyed having my like meetings with him. I just remember that. I remember it was just like, your numbers suck, Garrett, like, or McLeod Elder, like make them better sort of thing. And I'm just like, oh man, I'm doing so good. And then I don't know. I think there was just rumor of me being like a garbage missionary, and I think he just caught wind of it. But it was weird because my boy McConkey was AP with like Martin, and so I don't know. Maybe they were just like, no, he's that guy. So, but
oh my gosh.
Speaking of AP, Martin AP, you have to know this story about Elder Martin. So he would send me 3x5 cards in the mail that would just have random like quotes or something. And he was into the same kind of music as me. So every once in a while he would send me like a quote from like a band or something. But one time he sent me, and it wasn't a 3x5 card. It was a sheet of paper, and on the back of it, it said, "Elder McLeod, you are hereby called to be the mission rat." He's like, "Please call and report back to the highlighted missionaries on the reverse side. Thank you, Elder Martin." I flipped it over, and there was highlighted missionaries that he wanted the inside scoop on.
Oh my
And he wanted
gosh.
me to call these dudes and be like, "Hey," and just be like, chill with them, because I chill with everyone, and like, and just be like, "Hey man, what's up? Like, dude, you got baptism coming up. What's it like? That's pretty dope." It's like stuff like that, and then, but like. I would, and Alistair, you're gonna know the truth now. So I would call him and be like, "Oh yeah, I know, dude. They're solid, bro. They're like they're pumped, man. They're working hard."
So you're pumping people up that
I wasn't selling out. Heck no, man. The mission rat. Like, get out of here. I'll do it for you, McConkey, but not for you, Martin.
Oh, I know Al listens to these, so that'll be funny to hear what his response is. That's too good.
Dude, he can't deny it. It happened. I wish I kept it. I would have been the best part. I should have kept it. I should have. Yeah. Anyways, okay. So yeah, I sidetracked. So yeah, I don't remember everyone like kind of harping on him. He's like, "Oh, these numbers," rather than like. I don't know, because it seemed like it was a bit later when like the member missionary work was pushed, more maybe after Vreens, more of
Yeah, it was when the Fredericks came in. They kind of saw an opportunity to shift and focus on more member missionary work and inviting them to do the work for us, beyond our efforts of knocking doors and GQing. Stuff that we'd done for a long time.
It was the member missionary work that started getting me in trouble. Not in trouble, but like I got yelled at a few times. One by a member because I'd followed up, and I was like, "Hey, I just want to know, how's it going, blah blah." Like, how's like, because she like gave us a name or something, and I was just following up, being chill, and she's like, "It's not easy," and she like started yelling at me on the phone. It was like super uncomfortable. I was like, "Oh, okay, I don't know what to do now." Like, it's not what I signed up for. I didn't come here to like make the members upset. So I was like, but in like classic Scottish fashion, they just wanted to be offended, right? So, yeah, I don't know. There's that, and then like, no, this has nothing to do with member missionary work, but there was a family, the McAllisters, in Galashiels. Yeah, this is down south. One Sunday at church, she had 2 kids, and one of them was like jumping on me and like trying to steal my name badge and stuff. And she like came over, and I was like, and I just said to her, and I was like, "Hey, Sister McAllister, can you grab your kids? Like, they're out of control, right?" And I'm like, I didn't think I was saying it meanly, but she took it super offensively. Anyways, that like Wednesday, we had dinner at her house, and I remember her on purpose saying like, "Elder McLeod, sit here," and she didn't say anything to who was I with at the time? Who did I poop my pants with?
Oh my gosh, you can't say that.
So anyway, she X-laxed my. I was with O'Brien. She X-laxed my food.
No,
I can't remember who I was with. I can't remember who my companion was with. Anyway, she X-laxed my food, and later that night we went to go teach this dude, and we were having a good teach, and we missed the bus, and we had to wait like another like 45 minutes for the next bus, and we were pretty far away from our place, and so and I had to poo like so bad, so freaking bad. And so we're taking we finally got on the bus. I'm like sweating. I'm like, and the bus was packed. There was a lot of people. I'm surprised I got a seat. Anyway, so I sit down. I'm like sweating. I'm like in like my shirt and tie. So I was like, oh my goodness, dude, this is rough. I was like, my stomach, like every like, we hit like bumps. So I'm like, oh my goodness. So I'm like on one cheek, like kind of resting my elbow on my knee, just praying that I make it. All of a sudden we hit this big bump, and I bounce up and land 2 cheeks, and boom, I just poop. I was like, oh no. And it starts to smell, of course. And people around me, I could tell they're like, and I'm just like, oh, I was like, I'm so glad I'm the shirt and tie. They'll never think it's me. I was like, oh my goodness. So like we get to our stop, we get off, and I was like, and I turned to my, I want to say it was O'Brien. But it's not O'Brien because it doesn't match up.
Was it Barber?
No. This was
Jeez Louise.
I can't remember who it was with. What the heck? This is bothering me. I don't know. Get me on here for a second one in a year or two, and I'll figure it out. Because someone will bring it up. Somebody, I was with McLeod when he pooed his pants on the bus. Because we had to call the zone leaders who was DePold and someone else. And I was just like, dude, you got to come pick me up. Poop my pants. And so we like went to, we just like went to their flat. As we were tossing the G's right in the garbage, man, they're all pooped up. Like, I was like, so anyways, so I got X-laxed by a member.
Yikes.
Because I told her her kids were out of control. That was intense. The way we found out was the next morning we were at this lady's, like, single lady's friend house. I can't remember her name, but we were chilling there, and whoever I was with, I can't remember. This is bugging me, dude. I can't remember. Was like, dude, you got to tell her. She's like, tell me what? And I was just like, I wasn't saying it. And he's like, oh, I'm telling her then. She's like, well, you have to tell me. And then he told her the whole poop story. And so she's like, oh, were you at the McAllisters last night? And I guess I'm not the first one that's happened to. She does have missionaries she don't like, dude. She exploits their food, man. She was like, oh, you're not the first. And I was like, what? And I was like, well, I'm the first, like, poo my pants? And she's like, yeah, you're the first to poop your pants.
Oh my gosh. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah. And then, so President Frederick, me and President Frederick got along. I like that guy. I liked him a lot. He got to the point quick. He's like, how are things? How's this? How's this? You need to talk to me about anything? You need any help? Yada, yada. He's awesome. He's like, all right, sweet. He's like, so you played high school football, right? And so we just talk football a little bit or talk something. He brought it back to like, like, hey, I'm here as your president, but I'm here as like kind of your like a shoulder, like a pal, like a shoulder to lean on too, sort of thing. Like I want you to know, like I'm real. I'm not here just to like I care, sort of thing. He showed he cared by like finding common ground and like pulling out like stuff from like not just like missionary life, and that was dope. That was awesome of him. I liked him a lot. He was a good guy. And not to like crap all over President Brains, but like I just click better with President Frederick, and it's just how it works with people, right? You click with some, click with the like Jack. I don't think we cross paths at all. Hey, like I don't like even when I saw your name and then when your face came up, I was like, oh, I don't think. Because I was like, I was June 05 to June 07. Were you in the mission at all during that time?
Yeah, we just, like you said, we never crossed paths.
Yeah, I was like, I don't remember. I was like, do I have any memories of this guy at all? Do you remember me from?
No.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Well, you were up in Aberdeen, and I'm trying to timeline it a little bit. Jack wasn't quite yet to Glen Rothus. Maybe you were at that point. June of 05? You had to have been pretty close.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
I was
just in Glen Rothus for the rest of my time.
Was that Paisley?
No,
Kirkcaldy Ward.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I served in like every zone except for was it called the Paisley zone?
Yeah.
So I hit every one except for that one. And I was hoping that my last area would be in that zone, but then I got put in Sterling. That's where I finished in Sterling.
Okay.
Not in Dundee. That's what. Yeah. I wasn't in Dundee, right? I was in Dundee where I pooped my pants. I can't remember. It happened. I know it happened. I don't remember who I was with. And I'm pretty sure after they listen to this, they're going to maybe that'll pull somebody out of the woodworks. They're like, oh, I got to go in there. I got I gotta tell everyone that I was with McLeod.
Set the record straight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's so good.
And anyone would wear that badge on their on their chest. I was with Garrett. We poop.
Oh man.
Well, this is my dog. I don't know if. Hey, put your hand up. There he is.
Oh hey.
Hey, buddy. That's Velcro.
It is a huge dog.
He's a big dog.
Oh yeah, he's huge. He's like a Turkish herding dog. Like in the mountains, they used to like kill the wolves and the bears and stuff. So he's probably not really a pet, but he is now. That's what we did to dogs.
Well, you got bears up in your neighborhood, so and
Oh,
probably
I just
wolves
gotta go a
too.
little bit west to the mountains. Yeah, that's true. I've seen a lot of bears in my time.
Well, Garrett, it's been a lot of fun hanging out with you and going
Yeah.
through memories. You have a great set of companions as I'm looking at the list that I've compiled, and there's some of them we'd love to get on. George Willis.
No doubt.
Is there anyone else from the mission that, you know, as we continue on with this, that you'd like to hear from as we're moving along, and any of your favorite people you want to call out tonight?
Yeah, definitely. My boy McKay Lynch. He's such a character, man. I'd love to hear from Lynch for sure.
McKay, if you're listening to this, please answer my phone calls when I call you.
Dude, I thought I was his buddy, dude. He like stopped even answering me. So like, I don't know, man. Maybe just.
I don't feel bad then anymore.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just looking at my list here. Richard Midgley.
Richard is one we've talked to.
What a dude. I loved Richard Midgley. Oh, I just saw his name. I never served with him, but I served around him, and he was awesome. I loved him. He used to say he wanted to be in a band and play didgeridoo, and he'd be Midge on the didge. It was my favorite joke is, man. Oh yeah, Midgley was such a wicked dude, man. I liked him.
Yeah, we reached out to him, and he recently moved stateside. He lives in Florida, and we got in touch with him right as the hurricane hit in the fall. So he's one that's we'll get on in the future for sure.
Okay, sweet, yeah. Oh yeah, and then like you didn't have Brownlow, hey? Brownlow? He didn't do one, did he?
He's the one that was published today as we're speaking.
Oh yeah, we talked about that. Yeah. Sweet. Right.
Brownlow's been talked to. Yep.
Yeah, Brownlow's. Yeah, him and man, who else?
We are.
What's that?
I was gonna say we're also talking to Ren Hardy next week. So
yeah,
Ren will be. Ren.
I wasn't even gonna bring up his name. I didn't think Ren would ever do this, to be honest. So if he does, wicked.
I served with him for 2 weeks, and so I've been hounding him and saying, "Hey, come on, come and chat with us." And he's been listening.
I did it.
Oh yeah, that's definitely another reason. Absolutely.
Yeah, that might help. Yeah. Who else? God here. Yeah. Even like Matt Fisher. As I don't think he was sweet. I like Matt Fisher.
Yeah, I love Matt too. I need to get in touch with him. That's one I haven't been able to get in touch with yet.
And who was that? I think it would just be dope to talk to this guy. We clicked just because I think we're both from Canada. There was a kid from out east, like Halifax, out east. His last name was like Drennan. I couldn't tell you his first name, Drennan or something like that. He got sent home early. He was always so sick, but dude, that guy was a missionary beast for the short time that he was there. He was. Do
you happen to remember his first name by chance?
I think it might be like Andrew. Andrew Drennan sounds it rolls off my tongue nicely. So I think it's Andrew Drennan, and he was from like Halifax. He was an out east boy. And he would just be cool to talk to. I think above the fact that like I thought he was a dope guy.
Yeah.
too, right? So,
Okay.
yeah. And then, what was his? Hold on, I have to just. Um, Terrence Malloy.
Terrence
I
has
like,
been on.
oh, has he? Oh, sweet. He probably wouldn't give me a shout out, but like Terrence Malloy, I like being around that guy. He was always a fun dude to be around. I liked him a lot. Dude,
You might have. We've heard your name a few times.
yeah. Or maybe I'll listen. I'll give his a listen too. But yeah, I
He,
like
he was a
Terrence.
little bit earlier. I try to remember
He
what
was my
number
group,
he was. Okay.
but yeah, he was one of our earlier episodes.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, I don't know. I got along with so many people, even like Garrett Smith. I'm pretty sure he was from like Idaho area. He
Yeah.
would message me every once in a while, like he was going to come up to like around my area, like where I lived, but then it never ended up like panning out or whatever. But yeah, guys like him, like there's just so many sweet dudes. Like, there's no way I could tell you all the names of all the guys that like that rubbed off on me that I really like being around. I remember like man, guys like even like Streeter, even though he tried to steal a tie from me once on like exchanges. Like even me and him had like a dope time once where I remember he was like in another I was at his flat out exchanges and he was in another room and I just started singing some apostate music like I would do sometimes. And it was like this like ska song because I listened to like ska and punk and stuff, and I started singing it, and he knew it, and he started singing along with me, and then so I forgave him for stealing that tie from me. Like, yeah, I don't know. Man, there's like I'm just like looking at like this list here of like all the people. So I saw Drennan, it was Andrew, so that was right.
What is this list that you have? What is the list?
Have you not seen this? Did you not get this? So it's like missionary.
Jack, do you have one?
That's what I've been looking for.
Oh,
I got one.
You do have one?
I do have one. Yeah.
Oh man,
so
Garrett,
like,
you've got like a relic of like. That's the list that we want.
Oh yeah, I can somehow like
scan me a copy or something.
Yeah, my mom's got a scanner, I think. So yeah, I can give this to you. Some of this like circled because it's just like guys I wanted to make sure I would like have talked about or whatever, right? So
yeah,
yeah, I don't know. Like I'm seeing names on here and like they ring a bell or whatever. Like like Colin Kilgore. I remember that guy. He was good, dude.
Colin, he's a good guy.
Oliver Kellogg. Oh, he was sweet. I liked Oliver Kellogg.
Oliver is a potential. We haven't got a commitment out of him yet.
And like Scott Jump, wasn't he from like Kentucky or something like that? Scott Jump.
Was.
Yeah, he was from Kentucky.
Yep.
Yeah, I like Scott Jump too. Like these are just names I've seen pop up here. I'm just like, oh yeah, this guy's like this Zach Hewlett character on here.
Oh yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, like Brady Hess. Oh, Brady Hess. That was
Brady's been on.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he has. Yeah. Dan Ney. Boy, I like that. Dan Ney was a dope dude.
Dan Ney's been on too.
Yeah. There's no way these dudes gave me shout outs, but I'll shout these guys out till the day I die. These are just good dudes to be around forever. McDonald, Cam McDonald. Who was the dope tennis player? Was that McDonald?
That was McDonald.
Yeah. What? I like that. That was a cool guy. I like him too. Adam Rollo. That was another sweet dude. Craig Rasmussen. I remember him being like a pretty solid dude.
Yeah, Craig's been on.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just like Chad Wilcoxon. I think he kicked me in the face once by accident. I felt like I was like close. I should have been knocked out, to be honest. I remember I was like sitting there and just boom, took in the face. I should have fought him, but I don't know why I didn't. Probably because I lost my brain.
I have Chad's phone number too. I need to get in touch with him.
Yeah, I feel like I made a lot of great connections with a lot of great people at my mission. So I feel bad for like missing, like to shout out certain dudes. Like I'm just like I just turn my head over again. I'm like Travis Trottier, like what a sweet dude. Like
Travis is coming on in a few weeks.
yeah, like like these like sweet dudes. I just like I spent like very minimal time around, but like I would just remember being like, man, if I was back home, that guy would be a buddy of mine. Like I would go out of my way to make sure I'm buddies with a guy like that. Like just some solid dudes out there. Some ones that weren't so solid too, right? But they're probably solid to others. You can't win them all, right? Like Michael Jordan didn't hit every shot, so
That's true. He did not.
Yeah. So yeah, the crazy 2 years, and like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's really on for me.
No, man. I appreciate one that you have the list that Jack said he's looking for. I mean, like some of us have moved so many times that it's hard to keep track of all the stuff that we had from the mission. I know that's definitely the case for me. But
and there's no way any of these phone numbers or addresses work for any of these people, but at least you get like the names, right?
I mean, I can tell you my parents' addresses hasn't changed, so if you mailed me a letter, it'd get to me somehow.
Oh, that's true. Is my address? I'm curious though. Is my address the same in this? Oh, it is. Yeah, seriously. If someone wanted to send, hey, if you have this list, you want to send me some snail mail, it'll work. My mom's address is on there. She'd tell me she got it.
See, there you go.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you taking time, Garrett. We've enjoyed some good laughs with you tonight. So thanks for coming on. I mean, ultimately, we'll share this and try and get as many people as we can that you've mentioned to come on in the future. I mean, we've only been doing this now for 8 months now, Jack? And in that 8 months, we've covered a lot of eras of the mission, but there's still a lot yet to cover. So we're excited about it. But if you can get me that list, I'd appreciate that. That'd be that would be a useful tool. I'm telling you right now. Like I've been trying to piece together all the people and trying to remember all the names and connect with the right people, and a list would be helpful.
Yeah. This gives it, because it says from 05 to 07, so that covers quite a bit. Because that wouldn't be from like when I started. I bet you that's from 2005 to 2007. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, I came in January of 05, so if I'm at the top of the list.
Yeah, because Bryce is in here too, so.
Okay, well, maybe that's even before that too. Well, Garrett, thank you again. We really have enjoyed it. We love you. Thank you for being one of our amazing, legendary brothers in Scotland.
Yeah, no doubt, for real. Yeah, thanks for reaching out. Sorry I didn't get back to you quicker. Honestly, it was like, I don't know if I want to do that, but and then I listened to some. Actually, it was like, oh, so honestly, like if people are like, I don't want to do that, I don't know, this is kind of fun, to be honest. Like, give me something to do other than watching The Office and trying to talk to my dog or something, right? So yeah, it's not bad. Reminiscing's fun. Like talking about, when you can talk about George Willis and Ren Hardy and those characters, it's always a good time, man. So
I agree. 100% true.
I really hope that, like me being on here can give you some more kind of pull for some of the characters out there that would.
I mean, I went through the list of people that we've talked to, and at least a half a dozen people brought your name up in conversation. So, you had an impact on their mission experience in whatever facet, and they just loved you and they were looking forward to hearing from you. So I'm glad that you took the time to come on and share your memories, and more than anything, they'll just love seeing your face and hearing your voice.
Yeah, well, I hope so. Yeah, I hope it brightens someone's day or whatever. I don't know.
I'm sure it will. 100% true. I mean, like I said, you got half a dozen admirers already, and there'll be more that will want to listen to it, or they may listen to yours and go, okay, McLeod did it. I better answer Zach Hewlett's message or answer his phone calls.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. But I was gonna say there's like McConkey and O'Brien and McCabe, those guys that really, when you listen to it, and they're like, oh, you gotta get this guy on, and you're just like, oh, I don't want to disappoint, like those guys that, like I don't know. You don't want to disappoint guys that you admire and you cherish.
No way. 100% love it.
Exactly.
Well,
So,
again, we love you,
guys,
Garrett.
You're still pulling some of mine.
Those heartstrings.
Good dudes. Such good dudes.
All right, brother. Well, again, we love you. Thanks again for your time. We'll talk more soon, I'm sure of it.
Awesome. All right. Take care, boys.
All right. Cheerio, mate.